those days are long gone. You reach a certain age where you're like the roommate days are long,
Exactly.
long
Like
behind us.
we'll take 2 rooms, please.
So Virginia, Brent, there is something to be said. So I was going through the Volquest schedule at picks, and I wanted to pick your brain here because you danced around the Florida thing, and I knew you would. I knew before even clicking the post that I was like, Brent's not making.
Here's the thing about that. That was an easy dance in
Mhm.
June. Um, I mean, I'll be honest. I can't dance when it gets to game week and it comes time to pick that game because I've always said I'm not going to pick Tennessee to win until I see them beat Florida. Right? That was
Mhm.
always my easy excuse out. Well, I mean, they won last year, so I can't. What's my excuse now?
Mhm.
Right? I can say, well, I'm not going to pick them until they win down there. I mean, I've cashed that one out. Now I've ridden it longer than I wanted to ride it or I should ride it, but the fact of the matter is I'll come game week I'll have to pick that game. I'll have to put a score on it with a winner. I can't just pass moving forward. But I can for now in June I can pass, right?
Yeah.
It's easy.
What's your gut tell you?
On that game,
Yeah.
Joe Milton in a hostile environment, I think he'll handle that fine. My only concern for that game, now this is the June 13th thought process,
Mm.
and that is he'll have 100 people there watching him play. Can he just manage and not get so kind of geeked up about that game to settle into it pretty quick? Florida's got more talent than people want to give them credit for. I don't think they have a ton. They're not. They're certainly not the Florida team of years gone by. They're also not Austin P, like some people are making them out to be. So I mean, my gut says Tennessee. You
Hmm.
know, but it's a night game down there. They'll be revved up.
When was the last Tennessee Florida night game?
Well, I missed that completely when I when that game came out with the game time, I went back into the archives like they had not played a night game in forever. They actually played a night game Josh Heupel's first year as head coach.
I completely forgot about that.
That was a
And that
night.
was at Florida, yeah.
Yeah, that was a total night game 2 years ago. So it'll
I
be back to back night games there. So I totally whiffed.
You know what's wild is I just thought that was 3:30 and it got late in the second
Yeah.
half. Like it was just got dark in the second half. I didn't realize that was a 7 o'clock
No,
start.
that was a night affair. I
Huh.
completely whiffed on that one.
And the one before it, I guess, had to be the Will Hoyt game winner, right?
That was in Knoxville.
But I'm saying like that was the last
Oh,
Tennessee
no, my
Florida
last
night
night
game.
game. Gosh, what year was that? 04?
Mm.
Maybe the 05 game down there
Hmm.
where Colquitt tried the fake punt.
Okay.
That was a really bad mistake. Really good defense, bad offense for Tennessee. They couldn't do anything. That might have been a night. That might have been a night affair. There seems like that game. Maybe that game finished in the dark, but it seems like that game maybe started at night.
Yeah.
But anyway, they haven't played a ton of them because they've all been CBS. I thought that game was going to be CBS this year.
Hmm.
I think when you look at Georgia's schedule, CBS trying to figure out when do I get the national champions on TV
Hmm.
against a potential quality opponent, and that South Carolina game was okay. If we don't take them here, when are we going to take them?
Yeah.
Maybe the middle of October, and they weren't going to wait that long to take the defending national champs and put them on television.
I just I was there. You're obviously there. Like I was up close. Like we had awesome seats that weekend for Tennessee Florida last year, and you know it, Brent. Like Florida was one play away from winning that game, and they had no business winning that game. Like Florida, like Tennessee, just did everything they possibly could to have Florida win that game, and part of it, like, look, Anthony Richardson being like just I wish I could redo things in real time when I'm just sitting there. I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, I don't know what else Byron Young's supposed to do or Tyler Barrett. Like they've gotten him down. They are right there, and they just cannot bring this man down. Like Anthony Richardson should not be this hard to bring down, but the dude was just a tree trunk. Like he just would not fault tip over and was just unbelievable in that game. And he didn't get enough credit. Like Anthony Richardson, I understand is super raw, but like Anthony Richardson was the reason that Florida was in that football game until the very last play. And a lot of quarterbacks in a lot of situations would not have been able to withstand what he was having to deal with in that game, especially with the receivers going down and just really only having Ricky Pearsall as his reliable target the whole night. But like they were one play away at home, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a better team than I think this
Oh
year
yeah.
is going to be. I think you have to like it kind of gives me the goosebumps of like the Treon Harris year where they couldn't complete like Florida. You thought like, oh, the offense isn't good. Like they had like there's just an inherent weakness there. Tennessee fans felt good about it on the road. Like Graham Mertz, no Tennessee fans going to be going into Gainesville feeling nervous about Graham Mertz based on what we've seen the last couple of years at Wisconsin. It's just I can see this as as the Tennessee brain is just formulating the narrative
Well,
where I'm like, I just
yeah. It's because Tennessee, and again, they won it last year
yeah.
in a fashion that you typically don't see. I mean, you're watching that onside kick get recovered, and you're like, of course, right?
Mm,
Because this is what this series does. Because if you're a Tennessee fan, you've just been beat up by how many different ways Tennessee has lost that game.
mm,
It's the Gaffney catch, no catch, right? Now, you had the Will Hoyt redemption game in 04 where they got the fifth, Dallas Baker gets the 15-yard penalty that kind of saves Tennessee's
mm.
bacon there after he missed the extra point. But then you've got the two Hail Marys. You got the game where, gosh, I don't know, was that 15 maybe in Knoxville? No, it would have been 16, I guess. 13. I don't know, 14, somewhere in there. Butch Jones has got a team that all they've got to do is run the clock out,
Mm.
basically. Like Florida can't score. They just don't have the ability to score. And Tennessee decides they need to try to get one more, and they end up a turnover and give Florida the ball at midfield. And it's one of those deals where it's every way possible, it feels like Tennessee has found a way to lose that game. And that's what you're thinking last year when the onside kicks recovered. They're
Yeah.
like, I mean, this game should not even be remotely close. It's over. And then
Mm.
yet here it is. They're going to throw into the end zone, have a chance to win this game. And you're right about Richardson. He proved me wrong because I didn't think he would be that accurate with the football, but he threw the football extremely well in Knoxville and played extremely well. So it doesn't feel like, Florida's got a lot of swagger and everything about them, but we'll see what they look like the first couple of weeks. How well do they get settled in? What do they look like year two in Billy Napier's system? How much of a step do they take just in understanding, kind of what they want to do offensively and where they are offensively compared to year one?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a totally different situation for Tennessee and Florida because Tennessee's 28-point favorites against Virginia. They're probably going to blow them out in Nashville. They're probably going to blow out Austin P. So then they're just like parachuted into the, okay, all right, Joe, now is the time to like kind of just prove that you are the guy and you've gotten over a lot of the hangups that a lot of Tennessee fans have had since he got here. And Florida, we'll see how they do on the road at Utah, but like they're looking at it they might be in desperation mode right out of the gate where they have a lot more to lose. I think Tennessee will be going into that one. I just think riding high with two big blowout wins, and then they're just going to get punched in the mouth. We know that's how Florida is going to go, like at Gainesville is going to go, and we'll see if they respond. I am very, very curious to see what Joe Milton looks like in a high pressure on the road SEC environment as the undisputed QB1 because the last time we saw it was not very good. It was leaving a lot to be desired there, and I just can't get the Ole Miss run out of bounds out of my mind. Like until that changes, until we see a complete Joe Milton game that on the road and a big time win, I'm not going to be completely bought in. But as of right now, I lean Florida loss, and I don't even think that means the season's going to just go off the rails. I lean right now that's more of an L than the other team that you actually have as a loss here, Brent. Would you like to guess who I am surprised to see you throw out a loss for on your list?
I think I had them going 10-2. So
Well, you have them 9-3. You're cheating. You went 9-3 because you're wanting to say Florida loss, and you're passing right now. In your heart of hearts.
No, 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 no. I mean, listen. Last time, 2 podcasts ago in here, you started going down the Joe Milton hate train, trying to drag me into that world.
I'm not
I'm
trying to.
not
Yeah.
going into that world. Okay. So I think they're going to lose to Alabama at Alabama, and I think they'll lose to Georgia. I
Well, see,
think
that's
those.
the thing.
I think those two are the losses, and then the question becomes Florida,
Mm,
Texas A&M, Kentucky, and then South Carolina would be mine. Those are the four kind of swing games. I think Kentucky will be better and a bigger challenge this year than they were when they came to Knoxville last year because I think Levis was beat up with the toe. I think he was mentally checked out. They obviously had issues on the offensive side of the ball, which is why their coordinator is no longer there and they bring back their old coordinator. I think that was a pretty done Kentucky team coming to Knoxville. Now, Tennessee's had their number, and much the way we've talked about Florida finding a way to always seemingly be able to beat Tennessee in the craziest fashions, that's been Tennessee against Kentucky for forever.
yeah.
And but that game may be a bigger challenge than some people want to think that it's going to be. And then Georgia's Georgia. I don't think Georgia's taking a step back at all. And I think Alabama's going to have big time revenge on their mind on the road or at home. Excuse me.
Well, there's a couple things there. I just, and you probably speak more to this knowing Heupel pretty well now. Like, I'm just talking to other folks.